Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will you have the clerk call Senate Bill 179?
It's on the floor, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. One of the most important things that this bill does, it's related to things that have taken place. I know several people have been aware of the natural disasters that have taken place most recently. Obviously, there's man-made disasters that take place too. But in West Kentucky's one specific item, whenever I saw this bill that came to mind, we had damage in Ohio County that damaged grain bins. And I know that might not be understood by a lot of people on this floor, but that is basically people's whole work for a year that serves in those grain bins. We had someone that went into what we call the scale house or the operations center of that and took all the wiring and things like that to cause damage. So after the tornado, we could not actually move the grain out of that bin and had to go to extraordinary measures to try to save their whole year's worth. So basically this bill raises the penalty specifically during a natural or man-made disaster, the penalties that would have normally been those crimes, specifically whenever people are preying upon people at their worst time. So at this time, I'd like to yield to the gentleman from Boone 66 for a friendly amendment.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Boone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd ask the clerk to report House Floor Amendment 1.
Mr. Clerk, please report.
House Floor Amendment 1 to Senate Bill 179.
Gentleman from Boone.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What House Floor Amendment 1 did in this particular scenario is it defines exactly what an impacted area is. Unbeknownst to us, we think about tornadoes or earthquakes affecting a particular area, but we've actually had a couple of occasions in the Commonwealth where the entire state was declared in a state of emergency because of storms that were forthcoming. But not everywhere suffered damage or suffered some kind of destruction because of that. So all the House Floor Amendment does to this amendment is to specify the area or immediately surrounding area where the damage may occur. This bill, and to speak on the entire matter, is House Floor Amendment 1. It goes into Senate Bill 179. Is that particularly in Graves County, I know that there were 4 looters, I believe, that allegedly had $10,000 in coins on them that were taken from the homes that were destroyed. So there was actually a House version of this bill. We felt that on the timing process, the Senate bill would be more appropriate to get through to the finish line. We needed to define the impacted area, and that is the purpose of House Floor Amendment 1. So I move for adoption of House Floor Amendment 1.
Motion made for the adoption of House Floor Amendment 1. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. House Floor Amendment 1 is adopted. Gentleman from Boone.
I would yield back to the lady from Davis.
Chair recognizes the lady from Davis.
Mr. Speaker, if there are no further questions, I move adoption of Senate Bill 179, amended by House Floor Amendment 1.